Dumoulin takes a look. Deflection scores! Letang! Could you script it any better than this?
Pitch it to Najee Harris. Harris sidesteps, gets to the sideline. Najee Harris dives for the pylon. Touchdown, Steelers!
I don't think I expected anything less.
That's unbelievable. It is absolutely incredible.
Welcome to our live BPTV show, the Pittsburgh Sportsline in the BPTV studio. We're cold and freezing here in Bethel Park. Smoking Jim doesn't feel hot or cold, but he doesn't want to be sick, so he's got thermal underwear on, 5 layers of stuff. He's lost about 50 pounds in the last 2 years. He won't tell you, but he gained it all back tonight. And we can start the show. Thank you for watching our show. We've been on Verizon 31, the government channel, and Verizon 32 is with the basketball, girls and boys basketball. Nick's doing that, been doing it for the last month or two. And we're on Comcast 95. We don't know how to reach you. Some people think I quit my show because they don't have social media. So you can tell them it's all a rumor. And we're going to try to have some notification on when we're doing our show. So if you do have friends that tune into it, they'll know to just go to 31 or 95. So just wanted to clarify that. Thanks for being on Facebook. Thanks to Chuck McElroy, Ann Harder. Jane Leffler said, hello, everyone. Hello to you. Stay warm. It was -2 this morning when I gave my green tea, loose weather green tea weather report. Sorry. Looking at a couple of things with people making comments. Frank Nana. Al, long sleeves, thanks. Tony from Chick-fil-A, Smoking Jim making sports great again. We appreciate you. Before we get started, thanks to all my fans liking me going to Zazu. Got my first haircut of 2025. I just did it having fun, and then people like making comments and all that. So, hey, at 68, I'm glad I can get haircut, frequently. And we'll go from there. Ann Harder, hi y'all. Paul Haley's watching. Thanks for watching on Facebook. We appreciate you there because we're able to interact our 7 o'clock to 8, so we're still keeping that with you. And we're up to almost 1,000 shows. We only got about 29 shows till we hit 1,000, so I'm honored and blessed that you guys have kept us going and like seeing you all in the area, and you keep going, what's up with Smoking Jim? Then in the last, I don't know, since somehow I was scheduled for something in a hospital, everybody keeps asking me, how's Smoking Jim? I get people texting me, I get people I see, and I tell them this little story. I don't pick on him, he's my best friend, but he's different. He said he was great before he went into the hospital for a week. And he came out, and a week ago, all the young guys and lady here, they go, how are you? He goes, I'm great. I said, he's always great. So he's still great. And we appreciate you on the Facebook there and on YouTube. Thanks for tuning on YouTube. I think we're up to like 344 subscribers, so we appreciate that. And we're just keeping moving on. I'm Al Levine, the talking machine, Smoking Jim Frazier. Nick's not here. I said he's doing the basketball, girls and boys, so if you're tuning into there, you're not listening to us. We got Mike Rohde here. Chip Hayner had surgery on an ulnar nerve. They moved it from the inside to the outside since he told me it's public knowledge. And he has a cast on, and they had to put him on anesthesia. So he thought he could make it here, and he didn't. So Mike is filling in for him, and then Chip's filling in for Nick. So he won't be with us. And we'll still do the show. And we have our promos coming up in 10 seconds.
My name is Nicholas Callis, and this is the Bethel Park Minute. Don't forget, municipal ordinance requires that you park off the street during any snow event to allow safe passage for salt trucks. This also applies to daytime hours and overnight. Please also make sure on trash day that your cans are not on the street because they can obstruct with our snow plows. Bethel Park Public Works thanks you for helping them take good care of your roads during the winter season. Also, due to cold temperatures, the Bethel Park Community Center is available as a warming center during regular center hours. On Tuesday night, Bethel Park Recreation invites you to attend the first Winter's Bounty Farmers Market of the season inside the Community Center from 4 to 7 p.m. This event will occur the third Tuesday in February and March as well, and include many of your favorite vendors from the Bethel Park Farmers Market. Follow the municipality of Bethel Park on social media for updates and important information throughout the week. My name is Nicholas Callis, and this has been the Bethel Park Minute.
Pittsburgh Sportsline supports the Pittsburgh Post-Gazette Strikers. I worked there for 36 years. My former union, CWA PPMWS 14842, Pittsburgh Local Mailers Union number 22, is on strike. Even though health care benefits were secured for workers by the union, Post-Gazette management cut them out without the union's approval and still expected workers to show up without any coverage. Please cancel your Post-Gazette subscriptions online or in print. Pittsburgh Sportsline supports the Pittsburgh Post-Gazette Union Strikers. Frank Fanera, owner of Olive Oil's Pizzeria and the Hillcrest Shopping Center on Route 88. Call them at 412-831-1900. Every Tuesday night, Olive Oil's Pizzeria provides the host and the amazing volunteer crew with an XL pepperoni pizza and a full steak hoagie. They are delicious. Olive Oils is proud to support Pittsburgh Sportsline and the volunteers at BPTV. Stay Joey strong. Joey Fabus died at 8 years old of brain cancer known as DIPG. Since then, the family has come together with community members to create the Joey Fabus Childhood Cancer Foundation, a 501c3 nonprofit. Since being founded, they've raised over $100,000. Go to jfccf.org to learn more about DIPG, to help spread awareness, and to see how else you can support and donate towards the fight against this dreaded brain cancer. Always Be Smiling, a 501c3 designed to help children and families in need of kidney transplants. The B stands for Bennett, whose memory is embedded in this organization by his parents, Kristen and Dean. Despite the challenges he faced in his 16 and a half years of life, Bennett always had a smile on his face and spread kindness to everyone he could. Now, Always Be Smiling wants to pass on that kindness. Go to alwaysbesmiling.org to learn more and see how you can support or donate to this organization. The Bethel Park Community Foundation has money for you. I'm Al Levine, trustee on the board of this great organization. The BPCF focuses on raising money to provide scholarships, grants, endowments, and more. Grant requests are available online from $100 to $5,000. You can also attend fundraisers or donate. Go to bpcf.org to get more information and to stay up to date on upcoming events. The Bethel Park Community Foundation, focusing community resources, building for the future. The Bethel Park Historical Society is a 501c3 that serves Bethel Park. The Historical Society operates out of the Schoolhouse Arts and History Center, located at 2600 South Park Road. Look for the red and white trolley right out front. Reginald's Coffee is inside, and I've heard it's the best coffee around. To visit this great historical venue, email historicalsocietybp@gmail.com.
Hey, thanks for watching our promos. We appreciate you doing that and help the people out there that need it. And it's been 10 years since young Joey passed away. right before his birthday. So it was 10 years now that he's now been gone, and we've been honoring him, and they've raised over $100,000 to find a cure. So extra prayers for the Favis family and what they do. Instead of being down and depressed, they try to help others in the community and find a cure. So a little extra there. Ralph Williams is watching.
That's my man.
Paul Haley watching the best sports show live on Facebook from cold Myrtle Beach. Paul, we salute you. Ralph Williams, hello guys. Somebody named Margaret Rohde, hello everyone. Such a handsome panel enjoying the show from Rochester, New York. Nick and Peggy Rohde, our biggest fans in Rochester. Hope you're bundled up and layered up like we are. You heard my little thing about Smoking Jim. I think he actually has 7 layers of clothes on. And Paul Haley has all the Myrtle Beach golf course greens are covered with tarps as the cold hit us hard. 14 degrees tomorrow overnight. Paul, you got to come back to Bethel Park. I got an extra bedroom. You can stay there. Come on up. You can reminisce about Bethel Park when you lived here. All right, we got to go to What's on Your Mind? Smoking, dressed for winter, Frazier.
Thanks, Al Levine, the talking machine. And if you want the green,
Lazarus.
you got the
Can
C,
you touch
Levine. Thank you.
Come on, Lazarus.
And I tell you what, Al Levine, the talking machine.
What?
I've never had a cold hoagie before in my life. Always had hot hoagies, steak hoagies, hot sausage hoagies. Some of the best meatball hoagies I ever ate in my life. But on Saturday, I got from the Bethel Park Band, Mikey and his family, I got 2 hoagies, and one of them was a turkey hoagie. It was so much turkey on there, I could have made 3 sandwiches. I could hardly close the bun. Al Levine, the talking machine. That was a good hoagie. My first ever cold hoagie. There's a hand over here. Hand up over here.
Smoking Jim, I've told you about it since you've been on the show. My daughter Casey was on the band as a senior in 2006. For 3 years, I was known as the Hoagie Dad. I would sell hoagies to the Pittsburgh Press employees every Saturday morning. My ex-wife would bring the hoagies down. I was selling 200 to 300 hoagies. They called me the Hoagie Dad for 3 years. Casey graduated 2006. The next year they go, where's the hoagies?
I don't believe in spending money outside of Monroeville, but I got family here. I bought it from family here. I got family here. Al Levine, the talking machine, you talk about turkey.
Yeah.
How about the MVP turkey in Baltimore? Listen, I told you the guy can't throw. He can't throw. Al Levine, the talking machine.
He's a choker.
He's the only quarterback in NFL history with multiple MVPs. No Super Bowl. And he'll never win one. Al Levine, the talking machine. You talk about turkey. Al Levine, the talking machine. Hey, listen, I don't know how to cook, but I know curses. Enhance the Detroit Lions. 68 years in counting next year. Al Levine, the talking machine. Let's end on a high note.
Adjust his mic? My hearing is wrong.
Let's end on a high note. Al Levine, the talking machine.
He's hitting an octave.
I am so glad, Al Levine, the talking machine, and we're going to end on a high note. That Caitlin Clark's a Kansas City fan. It did my heart good to see her sitting in the booth next to Taylor Swift and just hugging. Hey, Al Levine, the talking machine. I always liked Kansas City. They went 50 years without winning the Super Bowl. So I don't know how she grew up a Kansas City fan, but I'm so happy. She's a winner. And they're a winner. And that's what's on my mind.
Taylor sends you an invite, you say yes.
Oh, man.
Hold it. Did you say you don't know how Caitlin became
I didn't see Patty Mahomes' his wife in there. In that booth.
Well, they got
They
problems.
still don't get along.
They're just like
Can't we all just get along?
They're just like you with politics. You talk politics and you never voted in your life. So we got to try to eliminate some of this. The turkey hoagies are delicious.
Oh, they're good.
And Smoking Jim, you could have got another hoagie bun and just put turkey on
No,
it.
I tell you what, I like all that meat. I tore it up, Al Levine, the
Did
talking
you?
machine.
Good.
Yeah. I'm gonna be getting 2 every time they got to sell them. What they sell them once a
You're
year?
a little,
Five times. Five times a year.
5 times a year. 5 times a year. I'm gonna get 2. Do the math on that, Al. I'm putting in my budget.
That's $100. Well,
I've been ducking the water company.
Hey, Smokey, you know when I find out stories about you, I gotta tell them.
I had to shovel.
Well, the guy that sold you the hoagie, we won't mention his name because I don't want to embarrass him. But I said, did you get paid in ones? He said, Al, I got a $20 bill. I said, save it. That's a miracle. Then the young man drops the hoagies off, and he goes, oh, thanks for buying them. I go, yeah. And he goes, how about my mother and I got to meet Smoking Jim in a parking lot in Monroeville? I said, I know him 13 plus years. I don't know where he lives. He told me in Monroeville, and we've done events there. He never invited me to stop by, and he goes, a couple times, I live 5 minutes away. And they said, here's the closing part on Busted Smoking Jim's, you know what? He was on time. We're going to move on to Michael Brody. What's on your, after that debut here?
Yeah.
Take a second. What's on your mind?
All right, shake it off. So I thought I would channel my inner Clint Eastwood. All right, I'm gonna
Clint Eastwood.
do a little the good, the bad, and the ugly.
All right.
The NFL playoffs. So the good. So first of all, the best throw I ever saw in the NFL didn't even count. I'll tell you what it was. You guys may remember it. It was against the Bengals. It was a while ago, I think, probably 15 years ago. Ben was in his prime. Mm-hmm. He threw a 40, 45-yard strike. This ball did not go 20 feet off the ground.
Wow.
It hit Lima Swede in the end zone, right between the numbers, and it bounced right off of him. It was the most unbelievable throw I'd ever seen, and it won't count. It still's probably the most unbelievable, but the second most unbelievable throw I think I've ever seen was by a rookie in the playoffs, which this kid is unbelievable, this Daniels kid,
Yes, sir.
where he's shifting slightly to his left, throws the ball 40 yards, chasing away from the safety and the cornerback. It was such a perfect throw that even though the defender's hand was on the guy's face mask, the guy couldn't help but to catch it because it was so perfectly unstride. I keep waiting for that kid to fall off. He's just not. I mean, he's as cool as a cucumber. Yeah. He doesn't panic. He runs when he has to. When he sees a lane, he's got that going for him. He can throw. He can read a defense. He can throw the ball on a rope. He's got an unbelievable arm. I'll tell you, I don't know. I'll tell you what. I have my picks later.
Okay.
We'll
save that. Yeah, but so, okay, that was the good. Here's the bad. The dumbest play I'd ever seen was, and we talked about this last week, was when Seattle in the Super Bowl, when they had the ball at the 1 yard line, the Marshawn Lynch in the backfield, and a timeout, and they decide to throw the ball, and they throw an interception. That was the dumbest thing I'd ever seen in my life.
Yes, sir.
The second dumbest thing I've ever seen is Detroit in the fourth quarter, down by 7 points, throw a wide receiver pass into triple coverage that gets intercepted and basically ends their season.
Yeah.
So that was the dumbest thing I've ever seen in my entire life.
I haven't bet NFL football in a long time because I believe it's fixed.
I know you do.
And those 2 points that you brought up prove what I'm saying. If it's not, why are they doing it? And then all you need to do, seriously, in every game, get to a long snapper. That's how easy it would be, because people go, how could they fix it? The long snapper is real consistent, does these things, makes one mistake in a game, you win.
Yeah.
You get your points, lose your points, lose a game. But I'll let you carry on. Those
Speaking
two.
of the fixes in.
Yeah.
Okay.
Go ahead.
I gave you the good, I gave you the bad, now I'm going to give you the ugly.
Oh, I want
and
this.
It's a tie. Okay? It's a tie. I could not pick between the two. The first one was the referees and Patrick Mahomes.
Oh,
right?
We know that it's rigged.
So, but I'm going to do a little flip on that.
Okay.
I'm going to do a little flip. I'm going to say, everybody who's complaining about that, and the coaches and the players and everybody that's complaining about that, You do understand that it's guys like Patrick Mahomes are the reason that you make $15, $20 million a year to play a little kid's game.
You're talking dollars and
okay?
cents. Yeah.
So you don't want to get fined. You don't want to get a penalty. Tap him on the ground. I'm not kidding. You don't look. When Patrick Mahomes is going down, they knew he was sliding down. I don't care if he's a runner. They didn't have to run in their helmet shoulder pad first on him.
No, but they hit each other.
It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. You're missing my point.
Okay.
I agree.
This is not. Marco, can we hear you back there? It's not a sport. It's a what? He didn't hear me. It's a business. It is not a sport. It's a business. I always say it to Marco.
Yeah.
It's a business, and these
Nice try.
quarterbacks.
Nice try. They're in the control
He
room.
misses 15 minutes. So anyway, these guys, the quarterbacks are why they get paid. You know, when a quarterback gets hurt, your season's done, and no one wants to watch your team anymore. All those games they flex out at the end of the year are all the teams that lost their quarterbacks, right?
Yeah.
So Patrick Mahomes is their golden cow, golden calf.
Yeah.
And look,
You're getting biblical now.
You don't like it.
Good, bad, and ugly.
You
Clint
don't like
Eastwood,
it,
biblical.
Give him 2-hand taps. They knew he was going down. I know it's not football, but again, it's not football. It's not a sport. It is a business. And they're going to protect that guy at all costs. They couldn't care less how Troy Aikman says, give me a break. They don't care.
Right.
They're going to protect guys like Mahomes.
Yes,
if you don't like it, tough. Go work somewhere else for a lot less than $15 million. To play linebacker for a professional team.
Right.
Okay, so that's the ugly. Here's the tie that I could not go without. Look, I don't. God knows I'm not a Ravens fan, but I would not wish Mark Andrews' game on my worst enemy.
Hold it.
You know,
guess who knew why he did that?
I know. That's why I was talking to you about. Look, the guy hadn't fumbled since 2019.
Thank you.
He fumbles. But,
Thank you.
But that was the guy came in with a punch and knocked the ball
punch out. That's fine.
And
the
that,
last play.
That drop. Was it a perfect pass? No, but that's a ball you got to catch.
2 hands on the ball with a guy with
he
good
was
hands.
He's moving this way and
reached back a
had to
little.
reach back a little bit. And yeah, it's freezing cold. You know, it is.
But he has good hands too.
But the point is, he's a great tight end.
On it.
Gets paid, say it with me, $15 million to play a little kid game. Sure-handed one of the best tight ends, and they lose the game. I mean, obviously that would have only tied it, not taken them ahead, but it definitely assured that they lost between that fumble and that drop. I remember I was thinking to myself after that fumble, I was like, because it drives me crazy when somebody fumbles, throws a pick, this and that, and the cameras keep going back to him. You know, it's sadistic. They're looking to make sure they don't cry or something so we can catch it on camera. They kept showing Andrews, and I felt so bad for him. I'm like, oh, whatever.
He kept a stone face.
I'm like, the guy is he's steel. He's gonna come back and he's gonna make the play, and then he drops the ball, and I was like, oh my God, it was so. If that ain't ugly, I don't know what is. Yes, sir.
Just 2 things. One. And I'm a Mark Andrews fan and a Baltimore Raven fan. But he got a chance to make it up. He's a great tight end. He'll come back next year and do it. The guy I felt sorry for was Jackie Smith for the Dallas Cowboys when he dropped it in the Super Bowl. Here's one of the greatest tight ends of all time.
And that's what he's remembered for.
Goes to Dallas for 1 season.
That's what he's remembered for.
And that's what he's remembered for. And he could never outlive that. But here's a question I have for both of you. For Jens. Do you think, looking at the quarterbacks, there's some running quarterbacks and passing quarterbacks, you think the Pittsburgh Steelers with Justin Fields would be able to add to the running game? You think that they could be okay with Justin Fields?
Oh, he's going to add to the. You put Justin Fields. Yeah,
disagree 100%.
I kind of have this for my next little segment.
Save it.
I can do now or later. Okay.
Yeah, do it later.
I'll be the contrary. I disagree because he showed me over 4 years that he has trouble reading defenses and throwing the ball.
That wasn't the question. He said, will they make their running game better? Of course he will. He's not going to make the passing game any better. He'll make the running game great.
Well,
as long as you don't mind playing, Leatherhead's 1910 style football, we're golden.
Well, to get a little deeper on it, the reason why he won't is he can't run every play, and Jaylen Warren is really good with 4 defensive linemen coming in instead of 8 in a box. So when he's the star back, 8 in a box, you see what he does with 5 sometimes on the line. He doesn't get there. He's quick.
No one runs against 8 in a box. When you can't throw the ball, you can't run the ball.
Well, that's the point. So when your guy has to run, it's going to be non-existent because they know he's going to run.
You know,
and
Barry
they already
Sanders,
proved that.
You know why the Lions couldn't win with Barry Sanders? Because the guy, you know what his career average was per carry? Almost 6 yards. Almost 6 yards.
Okay.
But you know what he did there in the game? That was the average.
Yeah,
he would go 1 yard, minus 2 yards,
He'd get 100.
1 yard, minus 3 yards, 80.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And the reason he did that is because they could never throw the ball. So they would play a stacked line. And every once in a while he broke through. But most of the time he didn't.
Maybe we could do that with Genty. Aston Genty, he almost broke all Barry's records.
I don't know. Coming from Boise State, I question
Yeah, playing in
that.
the Big Sky Conference, a little bit different playing in the NFL.
I've seen it happen, not that I'm a scout like you, but I go by the eye test with what you see when they hit better competition.
Well, they don't have better linemen. In the NFL, he got NFL linemen. But, I mean, I think he gained 100 yards in every game, even against.
Do we have an
I think he ran for
NFL line?
I think he ran for 200 yards against Oregon.
Do we have an NFL line too?
He ran for 200
Not
yards.
all of them are the best. Not all of them are the best.
Lines
You need coordination, like you explained, and rookies you explained, and Dan Moore's out the door now.
I just don't think the Steelers are that far off.
Sorry to get off. We're trying to kill time, Mike.
No,
That's why I had to go with. I heard running, but I see the future. We're getting stopped now. Our boy Justin Fields, he has to run on 3rd down.
After what you guys seen this weekend, the Steelers could have competed with any of those teams this past weekend. I thought they may not have beaten any, but I thought they could have competed.
It seemed more competitive because you reach the pinnacle where they're all at the highest level, right? The Steelers got
that punt that Lamar Jackson threw for the interception. They didn't punt all game long, but
that was a nice
punt.
Yeah.
I thought the guy was going to fair catch it, didn't you?
I said that's a great punt.
The Ravens.
If my man don't win MVP, it ought to be an investigation. The guy for Buffalo, that's your MVP.
I think the Ravens were the better team, to be honest with you.
They had 10 All-Pros.
60-40, I think they were the better team.
They just didn't have a quarterback.
They had
They
turnovers.
10 All-Pros and no
Turnovers.
Well,
Lamar had that fumble.
Let me
and pick
defend Lamar and his
see
play.
that fumble we put down?
Yeah,
Why did he just hand the ball?
He just set it down. You know, he has in playoff games. He has 8 games. He only has 11 turnovers.
Wow.
Yeah.
So I call that a choker in the playoffs. Some guys are good all year. Smoking Jim choked on a Super Bowl prediction. I can't ever let him go because every year he always goes, "This bet all your money, bet the house." I've done stats over about 5 years. He was 2 out of 5, 3 out of 5, 1 out of 5. Then he had 7 one year.
I had to duck the bookies.
And he had 3 out of 7. So he has all of those stats where I said, if you're going to bet, don't listen to Smoking Jim. And you win money. People thank me for that. So we respect you, Smoking Jim. We got some people replying. Teresa Mariano's watching. Thank you. Ann Harder said, yes, Jim, you do have family here.
Yay!
Well, hey, family of Jim, where does he live? Tony from Chick-fil-A goes, executive order has been signed to find Smoking Jim in Monroeville. Chief McElroy said 5 times this year Casey has gotten the benefit of a bad calls. They took care of Brady for years.
Thank you. My point exactly.
Well, he knows and he watches. And, Chief, I think it was 7 times because I've watched him, and I predicted that Goddell wants him to three-peat for history, and so that's why he doesn't even question the referees when it's obvious. But your point's well taken. That's part of Goddell, and I renamed them when they got the last CBA and put him in charge of everything. And Paul Haley, Mahomes' TD pass was almost 2 yards past the line of scrimmage. Susan Strandberg, where is Smoking Jim's Pizza? Olive Oils was closed. They're having some difficulties there. Can't get into it. It might have just been because of the cold. But I'm not the brightest guy. I stopped there. It was dark. Looked in. Nobody was there. And I got to the studio early so I could sit and troll on Facebook. So I got to see all these things. All right, I guess I got to do what's on my mind. Watch some good football, watch some bad football. And I'm watching these teams. Now, they're the best. And I go, how do they compare to the Steelers? They have offensive linemen, defensive linemen. They have better quarterbacks that are consistent and choking and other things. But you have an MVP candidate already won 2 MVPs, and he can't play in the playoffs. So I understand that. You got the Kansas City Chiefs. They aren't that good of a team because they've been in all these one-score games. And you're like, what do you mean? I go, everybody says how great they are. Well, Travis Kelce set records again, and he looks good. I'm watching the Kansas City game. Everybody's looking for the referee calls and stuff. Here's what I'm looking for. I got an expert Mike watching football for his whole life. Is Travis Kelce good? Just a simple yes or no.
Yeah, of course, yeah.
How can the best tight end on Kansas City's history have guys 5 and 10 yards, 4 guys, 5 to 10 yards away all game?
That's a good question, if you don't mind me jumping
No,
in
that's
there.
why I put it in there to have some interaction.
When you see the ball leave the quarterback's hand, and by the time you see it get to the tight end, it appears that they're wide open. But if you were like, if you get to watch a replay where you can see the entire field develop,
Yeah.
they're oftentimes throwing those guys wide open, or they're leading away. That's where a good offensive
I
coordinator
got a rebut on a
breaks
couple
somebody
of
here,
those.
breaks somebody there,
I've seen
and they
it.
have to make a choice in which way to go.
I've
so
seen it.
if Kelce wasn't, if the guy would have come towards Kelce, he wouldn't have been open. Then he would have thrown to the other guy. You know what I mean? So
I
a lot
know-
of times they appear wide open, but they're
I know the difference
it's
between throwing them open with Russell Wilson and throwing them open not with Justin Fields. But with Kelce, you're in the middle of the field where we don't look at as our team, and there's nobody moving because he sat down in the zone. And so you have nobody moving.
Yeah, right.
And I only saw it about 4 times, and it was enough to go,
Yeah, those zones drive me crazy. It's like I can't tell you how many times we all do it. It's like, how do you just let that guy run right by you and go in between you and the other guy? You know, it's
right.
yeah,
Well,
a lot of that's dependent on pass rush, I guess, and and
some
containing
of-
quarterbacks and things.
Some
like
of
that.
it's on talent, like they put Trice in against a great receiver for Baltimore, for Cincinnati.
the best receiver in the league.
Yeah, and they put Trice on it, who was his first game.
Right.
And he's a pretty good athlete. You could see he could play, but what do you do when you first drive a car? You have to learn.
Well, I've seen his X-rays. I mean, the guy's hurt all the time, so he may be a good athlete, but his
Yeah.
X-rays don't look good.
Well, he can run faster than you because we know how you walk in the
he can run
studio.
faster than Chip.
Chip, if you're watching, we love you. No, but that's what I wanted to bring up. Just watching the games, and they're entertaining, and you got blowouts and stuff like that. But then I got to share this. I'm watching a championship game that the 12 teams. It was actually pretty exciting. But one thing I think they should change: don't give benefits to division winners. Do what they normally do. How are they rated in the league, 1 through 12? Whoever it is, you put them in. And if a 3-loss team and you got to put an SEC team in there, okay. But I'm going to counter that in a minute. And I've never been a fan of Ohio State. Never have been. I was rooting for them because Notre Dame was sort of like Penn State. No offense to Linda, my daughter, and everybody else. Who did they really play? Ohio State beat 4 top teams.
Yeah.
They beat 2 SEC teams.
And lost to Michigan.
Right, but everybody, here's what I like. They think the whole season's about Michigan. Coach Day surprised the world.
It's a great point.
Like, you want to focus on one game. We do, Penn State and Pitt, and then they took it away from us. So Pitt, West Virginia, guess what? We care about that. So we understand the mentality. But Ohio State is like a factory of good offensive and defensive players. Just look at the rosters. And you got 1,500 people, the best players in the league, and you see a lot of Ohio State, Alabama, and all that. So now Michigan wins last year with a cheater, and he would have been fined and suspended or thrown out of the league, and then he goes to the Chargers. No offense meant with Harbaugh. Then you get Ohio State, wins a championship, national championship. Guess what? The Big Ten looks like the top league the last 2 years, and everybody's still crying the SEC should have done this and done that. They should have put their teams in. Guess what? Didn't Alabama get beat 3 times?
Everything's nice and balanced now that everybody can pay their players. You know?
Well, the portal is the magic
Nice and
door.
even now.
Yeah, and then it's getting crazy. Look at Michigan. You got a billionaire that bought a player from LSU to play at Michigan. I've been talking to a couple people. They believe other billionaires are going to do the same thing. And think what that'll do for football. The billionaire owners in the NFL are going to go, the price of tea went up. We got to pay these guys legit.
It's no longer really, even now, it's not really college football anymore. It's paid farm team.
Well, the sad part about it, Smoking Jim was ahead of his time.
Thank you, sir.
He was a good football player, supposedly. No proof of it yet. Just pictures, just old newspaper clippings. I go, what year? He never says. But here's what he did. He sold college books. He led all kind of money for his school. We ended up finding out he owed money later on, so they had to attach his pay. He didn't understand. He didn't go to school. He was in charge of parties and going off campus. And guess who was ahead of his time? I can't say whether it's 20, 30, 40 years. This man, I didn't realize how far ahead of his time he was. That's what they're doing now. All we wanted, like all I wanted, was some limits and some rules with paying players and still make them 4 years with a scholarship, 3 years go to a school. Guess what? They threw that out when you didn't have a limit of 3 years just on any NIL and portal and stuff. Look what you have happening. And anytime you put money in there, you get corruption and whatever else.
Absolutely.
Sorry to go on a little rampage, Bear, but my man is my hero. He's a legend, a true legend. Your wife's watching now. Michael, Diane's watching. All right, enough of that. We got to go 10 seconds. Fiction and fact from Smoking Jim's Almanac.
Thanks, Al Levine, the
And
talking
thanks,
machine.
Linda.
I won't be too long because I want to get to my main man.
No,
Mike.
you got extra time.
I did a little bit of journalism. You know, I'm a journalist. So I did a little journalism.
Where do you even work?
People.
Where do you work for journalism?
And this will be interesting. The Chance, Marco, and Mikey Young guys.
No, he disagrees with you already.
Little history.
He's disagreeing.
Al Levine, the talking
Thanks,
machine.
Chance. Yes.
In 1948, who drafted the guy for the curse for Detroit? Who drafted him?
Bobby
Lane. Who drafted Bobby Lane in 1943 with the 3rd pick overall?
I have no idea.
Pittsburgh Steelers. Yeah. Pittsburgh Steelers. They traded him. Never played it down for them. Al Levine, the talking machine. Detroit came in the league in 1934. They won 3 championships in their history, all in the 50s. Guess who was quarterback? Bobby Lane. Bobby Lane was the greatest player. He could have been a Hall of Fame baseball player coming out of college. You know,
he had a good arm.
Not only did Detroit retire his number, not only did Detroit hang his number from the rafters, not only did they build a statue out in front of the stadium of Bobby Lane, they backstabbed him right after he won the championship, the 3rd championship in the history. All 3 Bobby Lane, and sent him to Pittsburgh. And he said they will not win a championship for 50 years. Nobody says that. Nobody says
Where's
that.
your
Everybody's
proof?
laughing. Over the years, you got Dick LeBeau, Lim Barney, you got Dick Night Train Lane. You got You got Billy Sims. You got Barry Sanders. You got all these guys. And Bobby Lane.
Did you say Dick LeBeau?
And I talked to Bobby Lane a little bit in 2008 when they went 0-16. I said, Bobby, you done went too far. You know what I mean? I said, Bobby, you went too far. 0-16. So he pulled back a little bit, Al Levine, the talking machine, and I'll finish with this. I told you guys last year, Detroit's in the championship game. They're up 24-7 against San Francisco. The last time they won the Super Bowl, San Francisco was up 24-7 on Detroit, and Bobby Lane brought them back and won. And it was almost the same score as San Fran came back on. Listen, there was about 10 drop passes. Bobby Lane was knocking them balls out their hands. You think Andrews dropped them, easy ones. They couldn't believe it. This year, Al Levine, the talking machine, Washington, the worst team in the playoffs. Detroit, standing room only tickets was going for $500. Most tickets was going for $1,500 apiece.
Wow.
Al Levine, the talking machine. The fans was excited. The coach is crying afterwards. And people said, who wouldn't want to play for that coach? I said, somebody who wants to win a championship. and that's it, Al Levine, the talking machine. The curse is on, just like it's on the Steelers, the Penguins, and the Pirates for backstabbing their players.
Well,
you don't do that to Marc-Andre Fleury.
I have to debunk my Jamaican friend with
One
the voodoo.
playoff game for the Penguins would pay for Fleury's whole season. You didn't have to pay for him until the playoffs.
He's actually from Jamaica. He believes in voodoo, so that's why he throws these curses out. I don't believe he ever talked to Bobby Lane because he never told me he wrote about him. And I don't believe he even said that to him because with all the drinking.
Bobby, you're going too far. 0-16, Helen. You're going too far with it. Cut off his scotch.
Well, you even got Ann Harder saying the Bobby Lane curse.
Yes.
Like the Sid Bream curse.
Yes.
I had him on the show, and there's no record of the curse for 3 or 4 years
You
later.
got it here.
Because of certain crybaby fans. They have to blame somebody instead of Barry Bonds and a weak arm. That's the truth. Just like with Bobby Lane, we'll get the truth out of that. And Smoking Jim, with your curses, you tried to talk about the Art Rooney curse, and I told you it was a curse. He was a great athlete, but he was a drinker, and he hired all his drunken friends and players to play hard for him. And that's why they were called same old Steelers. They never won.
You educated me up on that.
Yeah, I'm still telling you again because you forgot about it. So that's the entertainment from Smoking Jim. Oh, we killed some good time, about 8 minutes on that. We're good. We can go forward on this with one of my favorite segments in here, Michael Ragin' Roadie in 10 seconds.
Just talking, I said I blame Chico Lean for that loss. Everybody wanted to blame Barry Bonds because everybody liked Chico Lean. Nobody wanted to blame it on him, but didn't have an error all year and threw the ball away.
With fixed games, he may
there
have
you go. I know everything's fixed. Everything's fixed.
Well, the reason I say it's fixed is how do you make 9 great plays and a career of great plays, and then when it's a win or lose situation? No, the apple.
Some just choke.
The apple only comes out sometimes.
Some just choke. All right, I'm gonna play a little game here. I'm gonna do because we can still. It's still football season, so I can still talk Steelers.
Yeah.
You know why not? I'm gonna do a little bit of what they should do.
Okay.
What they will do.
We'll leave you alone. Go ahead,
right.
Get it out there.
What they should do is draft a quarterback at least in the second round. And I talked about this last week. They're not going to get the top 2 guys, which none of them are great anyway, but I love the second tier guys.
It's like the Kenny Pickett draft. You're right.
I would even drive somebody in the second round, maybe then again in the 5th round. Think outside the box. You got to get a quarterback. That's what they should do. Here's what they will do. Sign Justin Fields. Because they somehow think that this guy is developing and going to be, I don't know why, I don't know where. If that happens and they sign him and expect him to be the quarterback, they deserve all the misery that is coming their way.
Quote him on that, baby.
So
I like it.
What they should do is draft a wide receiver in the first round. I love the guy. What's his name? Obuke from last night from Ohio State.
Yeah.
Tremendous route runner. Underneath. Love him.
You say Obuke?
Yeah.
I'll go with that.
Is that what it is?
I'll go with that.
All right. I can't get it. I
Obuke
can see his
XYZ.
name, but I can never say it right. So that's what they should
Just
do.
Google it
draft
and read
that.
it. That's
draft
all.
him. Draft a receiver. But what they will do is draft a defensive lineman or a cornerback because the Steelers still think that you win with defense. Okay, everything I talked before.
130 million reasons.
Everything we said about Travis Kelce getting wide open. You know why that is? Because, and I've talked about it a million times, the NFL doesn't care about defense.
Good point.
Every rule is geared for the offense.
Yeah.
Okay, but
You're
the
right.
Steelers still think they can win with defense, so they're going to draft a defensive line or cornerback. What they should do, any two of these three, okay, break the bank for T. Higgins, trade for Cooper Kupp, or extend Pickens. Any two of those three.
I
Okay?
like it. I like it,
But
Mike.
here's what they will do. They're going to trade Pickens because they traded AB, they traded Martavis Bryant, they traded Johnson, they traded Claypool.
Yeah.
Is there a pattern here? Okay, they keep drafting these guys.
Yeah.
And they don't want them anymore and they get rid of them. They're high talent. Here's an idea. Draft a guy like Pickens and make him accountable.
Hello.
Okay?
Hello.
Novel idea. I'm sorry. We've heard it all before
in this
about.
day and age, that's a swear word.
Okay, but you know what?
Nobody's accountable.
Bill Belichick.
That's a bad
You
A
can't tell
word.
me he didn't have some. He had Randy Moss on his
Yes,
team.
he did.
And kept
Yes,
him
he
in
did.
line.
Look how he played.
Okay, exactly. So don't tell me it can't be done. It can be done. Sign a guy, coach him right.
Good point.
Coach him right.
Not with our head coach.
I don't know. So, wide receiver, none of it's relevant because they're going to sign Justin Fields. So you might as well bring back Van Jefferson and
Taylor and
whatever.
Hey, Mike agrees with me on something. See, we don't argue on everything.
What they should do is get a new offensive coordinator, like the guy that just is going to Chicago from
Ben
Detroit,
Johnson,
an
yeah.
up-and-comer, somebody who can figure out all those routes to make their tight ends wide open. But what they're going to do is they're going to keep the guy, I've talked about this before, Neanderthal offense. The only time the man was successful is when he handed the ball off to King Henry up the middle. That's it. That's right. He had Ryan Tannehill throw 5-yard out patterns of the tight ends. The rest
documented.
of it was Henry running up the middle. And this guy brings Cordell Patterson and Mike Croft, runs 3 tight end sets. It's Neanderthal. It's never going to win in the NFL, but they're not going to do it. They're going to keep him. Here's what they should do. Trade T.J. Watt. Trade him right now. The Penguins should have traded Geno Malkin after that second cup.
I agree
he
with
was
you.
right at his, just starting to
That
come
had got
down.
number 1 draft
Watt's 30.
picks.
They've got Herbig to step in. Okay? You draft behind him. You get a first round. Some chump's going to give you a first round draft pick for him, and you stock up. You have to spread it out. You can't all have all these defensive guys. You got to trade them. If someone will take Minka, trade him too. So that's what they should do. Here's what they will do. None of that.
Yeah.
None of that. Okay? And that's my exercise for the night.
Great job.
No, that's good. Very good. And I'm glad you're living in reality. One thing I had to put out there when you said think outside the box, I always go, where's the box? Because I didn't go to school. Smoking Jim doesn't know what you mean by think outside the box.
What punter
Think-
would you keep, the
think
black guy or the white guy?
strategically.
I like them both.
For the first time since they actually have a choice of 2 good punters.
2 good punters, man.
They don't have to suffer through the Mitch Bergers of the world anymore.
No.
They actually have 2. I wish they could keep them both. But then again, you know what? They're going to punt so many times with Justin Fields, they're going to need 2 punters. Because there's going to be like 20 punts a game. That's too much to ask one man.
Right.
You're going to need both guys. So they might as well just keep them
The
both
Raging
on the team.
Roadie segment, he's on double fire. He's fired up and he's speaking the truth. I actually agree with almost everything you said there. So, very good. Hey, Paul Haley said, how about the Ravens, Lamar Jackson, Harbaugh curse for stomping on the terrible town?
Ooh, maybe that's something there.
Paul, you superseded Smoking
Maybe
Jim.
that's something there, Paul.
Hey, you want to talk about a curse that's real?
Yeah.
That curse is real. I'll never forget.
Byron Cope.
Who was it for the Titans? That Lendale White?
Yeah.
when he
Yeah.
was shining off his shoes.
Yeah.
And then sure enough, they got knocked right out of the playoffs in the first round. TJ Husmanzada shuffling off his
Yeah.
How
feet.
about the guy this
Out.
week? He stole 200 terrible towels, had a good clear exit, and got caught. His feet got heavy. He got caught with
Hey,
200 terrible
Smoking
towels.
Jim, you're very popular tonight in your curse.
Was he the same guy that tried to steal Gino's rings? Or
Yeah. Yeah.
was
Then
or
Gino
did Gino
found
just
him.
found him and he just forgot he put him in
I
his
forgot
sock
I put him
drawer?
in this drawer.
All right, we got another thing for Smoking Jim. Johnny Mariano, the only not fixed sport is professional wrestling. Now, this
Yes, that's
this
real.
is his opinion.
That's real. I agree.
He said even ask Smoking Jim. So
Yeah.
he agreed in advance. Well, I got to tell a story about me being a kid of about 7 years old. My grandparents lived in East McKeesport when it was nice back then. And it's a Saturday night. And what did they have on? Wrestling. Little Alan's sitting in front of the big console TV, had him like about 19 inches, all wood.
Up past your
And-
bedtime.
What's that?
Up past your bedtime.
No.
Oh, okay.
No, it was like you had to be in bed at 6 o'clock or you got the belt. So my grandfather, may he rest in peace, he loved pro wrestling. And we're there. I'll never, you got memories from your childhood, and I'm sitting there and I'm watching it. And my grandfather goes, "Hey, Alan, you like wrestling?" I go, "Yeah." He goes, "You think it's real?" And I'm still quick, thank you, God. I go, "No." He goes, "It has to be real. Look at them. They're throwing this, doing that." And I'd only been watching it maybe a few weeks or so. I go, "No, it's not real." I found out later it's all scripted.
Yeah.
So when they take you all the way up to the top and throw you through the table, that's all scripted?
Now, here's where you're...
Yeah, it's
they break
scripted to
your
pick
neck.
you up and throw it on the table.
Here.
When they break your neck, that's
Smoking Jim,
scripted?
you got like 18 degrees from basket weaving to, putting sand in buckets. And any educated man would know they're athletes. You can script anything if you're
You can break your
athletes.
neck as an athlete, it's okay?
Well, that's called an accident. Look at, you got CTE.
Accident
Did you play football with a helmet or without?
with a helmet.
Okay, and you're still damaged. So you proved my point. It's nice talking to my BFF like that. Glad we had a few minutes of time for educational purposes.
My great grandfather, my father's grandfather, also they both have the name Dominic Rhodey. He told me, my great grandfather told me, he said, "There's no way they put a man on the moon. That's all of Hollywood. It's all of Hollywood." So he
I
didn't
agree
believe
with
it.
that.
But
I agree with
he
that,
loved
too.
wrestling, and I'll bet he thought it was all real.
No, that's a good. Those are good points about it. Like Smoking Jim, tell him about any bad thing, and it's a curse. And he's Jamaican, so he gets a voodoo doll out. And but we got to do that. Well, I'll go to my segment. It's short and sweet, but we do have a little announcement to make. We're going to do the Donnybrook, the Irish fight, the Pittsburgh Fighters, March 14th at the Priory Grand Hotel. And it's always a very great time there. And we get the broadcast overseas, so it's great with our live streaming. You guys can all watch it on Facebook when we do it. And the Irish always question us, and I go, "Hey, we believe in our Pittsburgh guys, but your Irish guys are just as tough, and they beat us the last couple times."
I'm Mick Frazier that night.
I know, yeah. They call him Mick Frazier all the time. Johnny. No, but we have that as one of our on location. And then with boxing, you never know with Golden Gloves. And Smoking Jim and I have been announcing boxing for about 12 years doing it. So it's sort of consistent. We have some fun. And they like us doing it. And we get a lot of people watching it. So stay tuned for some of that. Now we can do a free-for-all. What do we got? Wow, we got a 5-minute sports free-for-all. Mike only knows football, so he can share football if he wants. Smoking Jim knows everything, just don't bet. And I'll listen to anything. I'm the garbage man. I can pick up anything.
I just
Go
wanted
ahead.
to say real quick, a buddy of mine, Greg, I didn't get it. He's
Yeah.
watching, Greg Sheldon. He said, "Tomlin, stay or go." Greg, that one's too easy. That one's too easy. I wasn't even going to touch that because he ain't going anywhere. Nowhere.
He has 3 more years, everybody.
Two more years. But you know what? And after this season, that's the year when they extend or get rid of coaches, right?
Yeah.
So it's but how? Tell me how they're going to be anything more than a 9 or 8, 10 and 17.
That ain't bad.
Again, it's not bad.
bad.
It's not bad. And if
The
that's
standard is
and
the
that
standard
is the
equals
entire-
mediocrity.
that is the
Mediocrity.
entire philosophical discussion about Tomlin. It comes down to that, right?
Well, the
It's like
Redskins went
he's
from 95.
always
The Redskins made the playoffs for the first time since 1995.
and you got a quarterback. That's
Not
why.
the Redskins, General
Commanders. The whole philosophy with Tomlin is he's always going to get you there, right? But how much? Why can't they take that next step? It's because they need a quarterback. You just do.
Well, you just
gotta
said
have a
the key question is, what has Tomlin done without a future Hall of Fame quarterback?
Same thing Belichick
Say that
done.
with anybody.
Same
Say it
thing
with Belichick.
Belichick's
Say it
done.
with Cowher didn't. Cowher. Everybody wanted Cowher
Oh,
fired until he
wait a
got
minute.
until he
Neil
got
O'Donnell.
Roethlisberger.
Neil O'Donnell took him to the show.
Yeah, that's
Hold
true.
it. That is one of the games that was truly fixed. And the mobsters in New Jersey, you know about them. They had O'Donnell hooked up on that, where you got a
I
defensive
felt
guy
bad for him.
in front of the guy, and he throws it like this.
Larry Brown.
Bang, 2 passes.
Larry Brown.
How do you dispute that
Kevin
one?
Brown.
That
Kevin
wasn't any.
Grass.
That was not choking. O'Donnell really threw an interception.
Somebody was supposed to run and out, and they ran in, and he threw it out. That's all it was. It was a read option.
Twice.
Read route. Yeah.
It's a good excuse.
all it takes, man.
It's a good excuse, like a curse.
My buddy just said, my buddy Pat Cale, the NFL's a joke. Watch something that's actually not rigged. So he agrees with you.
I know. Thank you. I appreciate you.
All right.
I still watch it for the sports factor, and I like it. And once in a while, the rig gets beat. Just remember.
It's just, for me, like Roberto Clemente used to say, for me,
This
when I
doesn't
looked
make
at the
sense.
games this weekend, I just kept saying the Pittsburgh Steelers could play with all these guys. They
Yeah,
just
but
play
you
with
said
all
they were
these.
going to the Super Bowl.
I
So
did. I was wrong.
next guy.
I was wrong.
Next guy. We won't
I
rub
was
it in
wrong.
anymore. Any predictions?
I was going to say, what is everybody's picks? Who do you got?
Yeah, go ahead. Start up.
Picks.
Never mind.
Detroit's
We'll move the
out.
mic.
It got to be Kansas City because of Caitlin Clark. And I would say, I tell you what, I got a feeling about Washington. Yeah, I got a feeling there's something going on in Washington right now.
Cinderella, it's
There's
called.
a lot going on in Washington on
Cinderella.
and off the field. I tell you what, but I'm going with Philadelphia because of the running game. That Barkley's something else. Penn State, we are Penn State. Hey, so I'm going with Philadelphia versus Kenny Pickett could get his first Super Bowl ring.
What's your pick now?
Versus Kansas
There you
City.
Okay.
And because Kansas City gets all the calls at home.
It's
get
going to
all
be.
the-
It's
They
gonna
get
be
them away,
Kansas City
too.
because it's in Kansas City, I think,
Yeah.
and it's going to be 26-24 last second field goal to win that game.
But my favorite player is Josh Allen. I mean,
I like them too.
I hate to pull against him.
My predictions, Kansas City and the Commanders, they're for real.
No
And
rookies ever started a Super Bowl.
It's going to happen.
Well, that's
And
what they say.
if you're a betting man,
Well-
bet against Smoking Jim on this
I'm
one.
a journalist. There again, the national media is wrong. Slinging Sammy Ball not only won the world championship as a rookie, Slinging Sammy Ball was the league MVP as a rookie, and nobody talks about it. He won a world championship, and the Steelers passed on him to take a center from Duquesne. They passed on Slinging Sammy Ball, maybe the greatest quarterback in NFL
they also
history.
traded Johnny Unitas.
Yes.
and Lenny Dawson.
Yeah.
And Lenny Dawson, yeah. They said they couldn't
We
play.
know that. Yeah, but we had Bubby Brister.
Well, we had,
I'm
Tad
just saying.
Marchabroda then.
Yeah.
We got Tad Marchabroda. He's this tall. He's tall as Eric Bieniemy.
Yeah. Where's Bieniemy anyhow?
Well, he's crying in his suit.
He was the hot ticket.
Why
for
did he
us.
told
leave?
y'all he couldn't
Why did he
coach.
leave Kansas City?
I told y'all he couldn't coach.
Smoking Jim, you're a
Got
prophet in
exposed.
your own time. You're a legend. You're a,
That's part of my 97% right.
well, he was only wrong 10 times, so figure out how that works out. And that's what I lost count on. After 10, I don't know. An open door more, will he stay or will he go?
If they're smart, they'll keep him.
He's gone.
4 more years. 4 more years.
Open door more. Don't let the door hit you.
Gone.
Well,
remember Najee's carrying him out on his shoulders?
Yeah,
Or
I
both
remember.
out the
Well, we got to end the show. Thank you for watching and tuning in on this cold night. Please stay Joey strong.